Guys, we are going to go ahead and do, it is Wednesday, May 20th, so we're going to go ahead and do morning work 12.5. So we're starting out with some of our 2-digit plus 2-digit addition, okay? So we always want to remember that we have a tens and a ones place, okay? And we always want to make sure that we add the ones place first. If it helps, you can always cover up that tens place so that you only see the ones place to help keep that in order, okay? So when I add my ones place together, I have 8 plus 5, and I know that that's 13. So I can think of 13 as a 10 and 3 ones. So I'm going to put I'm going to carry my 10 over into my tens place, and I'm going to leave my 3 ones in the ones place down here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my tens together. I have 1 plus 2, which is 3, and 3 plus 6, which is 9. So my answer is 93, okay? We're going to actually skip over the next 3 and we're going to go over to this one, okay? Because I want to remind you of something that we need to do when we get into some kind of bigger numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to think of it as my tens and my ones. I add my ones place first, so I have 2 plus 9, which is 11. So I know 11 is a 10 and a 1, so I'm going to carry my 10 over into my tens place, and I'll put my 1 down here in my ones place. Now, when I look in my tens place, I have 1 plus 9, which I know is 10. And then 10 plus 4 more, which is 14, okay? Well, I can't put 14 just in my tens place, okay? So what you want to think of it is, you want to think of it as you're going to be adding a hundreds place. So it's kind of like putting that 4, I have 14. So I'm going to put 4 tens here, but then I'm going to trade 10 of those tens in for a 100. Now, I don't have a 100s place here to carry it to. So all I got to do is just write that 1 in front of the 4, and I'm making a 100s place by adding that there, okay? So let me review. So we did 2 plus 9, which is 11. I put my 10 here and my 1 down here. Then when I add my tens, I have 10 plus 4 more. I have 14 tens. Well, 10 of those tens I'm going to trade in to make 100, and then I'll still have 4 tens left over. So I can just put that 14 tens down here. Now, if I had a hundreds place, I could have carried this one over into the hundreds place. And you could even do that if you wanted. You can imagine that there's a hundreds place up there, and you could carry it, and then you would just bring it down because there's no other hundreds in that hundreds place, okay? So go ahead and do the rest of those on your own, okay? Then here we have what looks like maybe a surfboard or something, and it costs $1.35. Well, you're paying with 2 $1 bills, okay? So I want you to think about how much money that is, and then you're gonna draw the amount you would get as change, okay? So what I recommend doing is, you have your full dollar, okay? So I know that I'm gonna use this 1 full dollar. So I'm gonna cross out that dollar bill right there. That's the dollar that I used right here, okay? Now, I'm paying with another dollar, okay? But I only need to use 35 cents of it, okay? So if you remember, a dollar is 100 cents. So if you only need to use 35 cents of this, but you're giving them an extra 100 cents, how much is your change going to be? So I'll let you figure that one out right there. Write the antonym for the words below. Well, we had talked about synonyms before, and synonyms are words that mean almost the same thing. Well, antonyms are just the opposite. They're words that mean the opposite thing. So our words are never, sunny, work, fancy, going, and lower, okay? So the first word would be raise. We have raise, staying, rainy, plain, play, always. We have a lot of those long A words again. Well, let's take a look at raise. Well, I might raise my hand, but what would be the opposite of that? If my hand is raised, what would I do? Well, I would lower my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and write lower on the line, okay? I'm going to let you try the next 5 because I think you guys can get those on your own, okay? Then down at the bottom, Farmer Bailey needs hay for his herd, okay? So then we've got some words down here. Contains, the, corner with a period, in, haystack, always, a, barn, and the. Well, I know that because it's the only capital letter here, that the is going to have to be my first word. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. And then I'll go ahead and unscramble the rest of the sentence so that it makes sense. So I'm going to have you go ahead and pause your video, to do your work, and when we come back, we'll go over the answers together. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go over the rest of the answers. Okay, so on this next one, we had 7 plus 7, which is a doubles fact, which is 14, which is a 10 and a 4. So I carried my 10 over into my tens place, left my 4 in the ones place. And then when we add 1 plus 8, we get 9. Over here, we had 7 plus 4, which is 11, which is a 10 and a 1. So after we carried our 10, we added 1 plus 2 plus 5, which gives us a total of 8 for 81. Okay, 7 plus 6 is 13, which is 1 10 and 3 ones. And then when we add our tens, we get 43. We did this one together, okay, and that took us over into the hundreds place, so that was a tricky one. Then here, we didn't need to carry it all, because in our ones place, we had 6 plus 3, which is 9, and so we can just bring down our 5, okay? Now, for down here, we had to pay $1.35, and we used $2 bills to pay with. So we can know that we used one full dollar, so we can kind of cross that one out. And then we had one more dollar that we paid with, but we only needed 35 cents of it, okay? So what I did is I started at 35 and I said a nickel would get me to 40. And then I did 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, because we know that 100 cents is a dollar. Okay, so then once I drew that, I counted 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. So that gave me 65. So another way that you could have done it was I'm at 35, so I thought 45, 55, 65, 75. And then I know once I get to 75, a quarter would finish me off to get me up to 100, and that would get me to the 100 cents as well. And so when I have 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. Okay, and there are other ways too, but as long as you have 65 cents, then you're right. So we did one together here. We needed to write the antonym, which means the opposite. So the opposite of raise was lower. The opposite of staying is going. The opposite of rainy, like it is today, is sunny. The opposite of plain is fancy. The opposite of play is work. And the opposite of always is never. Okay, and I said today's rainy because I'm doing this on a different day than you guys are actually doing it. So it might actually be sunny out, but when the day that I'm recording this right now, it is rainy. So Farmer Bailey needs hay for his herd. So if we unscramble these words, we can come up with a sentence. The barn always contains a haystack in the corner. Okay, so a lot of farmers will keep their hay in a barn to keep it dry. So here are your answers for morning work for Wednesday, May 20th. Good job, everyone.